the greatest features that it has. But anyone who's into cameras knows that a lot of that stuff is being wasted now. The power of the most powerful cameras are largely well beyond what the average user needs. Mm-hmm. Take that to the example of the music. You take pictures. What do you want to do with pictures? You usually want to take pictures, you want to sort them, you want to share them, mm-hmm. you want to sync them. It's very similar to music. Now, if you start bringing in digital picture frames into the picture, and the idea of looking at your pictures and your movies on your TV set, of sharing them across the cloud with the friends that you have, of tagging them while you take them so that they automatically get sorted in different places. That, I would say, is where we're going to see this industry move. Mm-hmm. And looking for devices that are starting to show those features, starting to show the intention of moving in that direction, is something that I think would be very interesting to watch. And I have no doubt that that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. The next wave, if you look at, we talked at the beginning of how far we go, you look at now what we can do 9 years from now. Processing power increases, they get smaller, battery life extends, they're now connected. The next phase is, what if they can start accepting services? And this is something that we talk about at Microsoft a lot, the services, software as a service. And usually software as a service means bringing in information, bringing in a service into an existing application. Now, what if do you have a GPS device?
I do.
All right, a Porter one? Okay. Does it have traffic monitoring?
It doesn't, but okay. It's a CE device, so I'm hoping the latter someday.
That's good. Now, if you look at how that device right now would accept traffic information, real-time traffic information, what they do is they bring in the information from some sort of feed external to the device. Mm-hmm. Usually it's a government-provided feed of the local government has put it cameras or sensors somewhere on the major thoroughways to know what's going on in the environment and sending that to you. That's how you get it. If you're on a side street, there's no traffic information there. There's no way to have it. Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at a device that's as powerful as they would be 7 years from now, as far as the instruction sets that it can handle, it's already IP connected. The idea of connecting to the cloud is very established. This device, a GPS device, knows where it is, and it knows how fast it's going. What if it pushed that information back up, brought all the information from all the other GPS devices on the roads together, created its own service, and then pushed that back down? Now you have real-time traffic information everywhere because you have GPS devices everywhere.
I like that.
Yeah, you could roll this same scenario across many different industries. For example, if you have any device with a display, it knows what it's using on its display. It knows when someone's using the real estate of its display and when they're not. Mm-hmm. You have displays at gas stations, you have displays at ATMs, you have displays on your phones. There's displays here. What if, to offset the cost of the device, they are pushing the information up that says, my display is now free. I am willing to accept some form of advertising or some form of user content that is being brought down that I've subscribed to, that I want to see flickering across. So now you have an entirely different model for how you offset the cost of these devices. I can bring in advertising and push them across displays because the displays themselves are talking to each other and saying, we're here, we're ready to accept a service. So the service of the device, and I know this gets a little tricky, the service of the device is actually the information of the device being pushed back up. I'm here, I'm aware, this is what I can accept, or this is how much downtime I've had. I'm broken, I am out of money, I'm an ATM machine, I'm empty. All these information coming back up so that the management of these devices that are going to proliferate is possible. So that's what we're looking at: smart, connected, service-oriented. The idea of not only the dangers of what happens with this, but the security concerns. I think that's going to be at the forefront, as well as one of the problems that we're going to have to solve. Just as when we became connected in our computers, what was one of the first things that happened? Viruses, right? We're all connected now. Oh, crap, we got to deal with that.
Yeah.
I think that if you look at the history of what's happened with viruses, malware, adware on the computers, you can see that it's relatively under control now. It's something that we are aware of, we know that we have to fight it, and we've put constraints in place.
I wouldn't mind having a pushed scenario where people say there's a speed trap here.
That would be interesting.
But I just don't want to get an automatic speeding
That's
ticket.
a great idea, and actually something I never thought of. You're talking about the idea, I've been thinking the whole terms of corporate pushing out services, but if you take something like the Wikipedia model of saying, okay, users have these devices, they have information as well, so that you're not just blinking your lights.
Yeah.
And how far do you have to keep blinking your lights anyway? That's the one thing I've always had difficulty with. Like 3 blocks I get, but further down the road, do they even know?
Yeah.
That's a non sequitur.
$1 million idea.
Exactly.
Free.
But the idea of user-created services would be very compelling, because I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
They're going to have the interface. They're going to be much more powerful. They're going to be programmable to some extent. Mm-hmm. It's not hard to see a feature button that says, speed trap. Yeah. Or, Walmart 2 miles ahead.
All right, so I guess this will be the first unboxing of this product. I've never seen anything like this before. This is by Neonode?
Neonode. And this is
What exactly is this?
What is a Neonode? This is very interesting. This came to us. It's I know they're being sold in Russia. I do not think they're available here in the States. This is a phone, and we'll get some close-ups in a second, that is based on Windows Embedded CE 6.0.
And we don't know if this will work in the U.S., but I did stick my SIM card in there. We had 4 bars. And
we did get your SIM card in there, but we couldn't figure out if we were making calls or not.
It said dialing, but whatever.
Right. What I wanted to show this for was again, if you look at the evolution of what's going on, from going to features of how much stuff can I pack into it. If you see the beginnings of user-centric experiences of what's going on, again with music, with camera, you'll see the same thing happening with phones.
The biggest changes seem to be with interface.
That's the point, right? So if I'm moving away from trying to jam as much stuff as possible into a device to saying, okay, what does the user want?
Yeah.
What's become more important to the user? Now that cameras are on every phone, now that they all have some form of instant messaging on them, some form of connection going on, they can store some amount of music and pictures. What do you start looking at next that you compete on? Well, you go to the individual, all right? And so this phone, and we'll have to show it, you can see it doesn't have a keyboard. It's actually touch sensitive, and this you won't be able to feel because you're not here with us, but every time you touch one of the numbers, it vibrates.
Tactile feedback.
It's letting you know what's going on. And all the functions as far as...
It's a pretty stiff little thump when you click on a key. You
yeah,
really know
you've done something, exactly. And this is the beginning of saying, what does the user want in a phone? I've got all the features I want. Now let's go to the user and say, this is the type of experience that I believe users would want. And there's no right or wrong answer. I want a keyboard. Yeah. I know I want a keyboard because I do a lot of email.
Yeah.
You know, this is 80% email machine for me. Mm-hmm. That's what I use it for. If I was going out at night, which I don't do anymore because I'm married with children, but I've heard it's fun, yeah. I would want something smaller. I don't want something this big to go around with it. So you see the divergence of the different experiences that individual users, in marketing terms you call them segments, are interested in, and the devices catering to these different segments. And that's again the most exciting thing about that. These devices are wrapping around us, not the other way around. There is some confusion in the market as far as what's the difference between Windows Embedded CE, Windows XP Embedded, and Windows Mobile. Not to get too complicated, but the essential core operating system, the kernel, so to speak, of these of CE and mobile is the same. Now, mobile has since taken that core base and moved on to create a software package that is very specific to phones, and that's what Windows Mobile is. Now, CE is meant for the embedded